So in this video, we're going to talk about the 3 key steps to building powerful confidence at approaching women in bars. So let's get started. Have you ever experienced that dread or that fear when it comes to approaching a beautiful woman in a bar? Have you ever been like nervous, terrified, or scared, and you just can't figure out how to get over it? Maybe you've been working at it a long time, but it doesn't seem to work. Maybe you took a boot camp, but that didn't work either. Well, there's some key reasons why a lot of people don't get over their fear of approaching women in bars. And we're going to go over that in this video and the ways to solve it. Now, if you haven't seen the 3 key elements to building confidence, I recommend you watch that video first. And the link will be right here in the video now. Also, if you haven't seen the follow-up video to that, the 3 steps to building powerful confidence, there's also a link for that. Watch that one too, because that will help you to understand this process a lot more. In this video, we're going to talk specifically about approaching women in bars. Okay, so let's get started. Step number 1, similar to the second video, how to build a powerful sense of confidence. You want to start by incrementally. You want to start a little bit at a time. You want to start by, in a sense, lifting weights, adding a little bit of weight at a time. This is a big mistake guys make. They try to state pump themselves so much in the bar. They jump up and down, they scream, they yell, that yeah, they get to approaching women that night, but I'll see them go month after month with very little success, wondering why. And there's a main reason for this. And we covered it in 3 key elements. It's because women connect through emotion. They connect through feeling. Yes, they need your confidence, but they also need emotion and feeling mixed in with that. And if you're cutting out your emotion and feeling because you're state pumping over insecurity so much, you're pushing insecurity down, state pumping up, well, they won't be able to relate to you. They won't be able to feel you. They won't be able to trust you. At best, you'll connect with drunk women, party girls, and maybe that's fun for a while if you can get good at that. Most people can. But in reality, if you want to meet amazing, amazing women and you want to really get good with women, then you have to give that up. Now, you can state pump a little bit, but just enough to push your boundaries, not no more, just a little bit, then a little bit more, as you learn to also relax into your body at the same time. So the first key element is to give up the state pumping, connect to your emotions more, and start to push yourself into the tension a little bit at a time instead of trying to do it all at once in one weekend. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, that brings us into step number 2. Step number 2 is consistency, just like in the last video. Consistency is essential, especially here. If you really want to get good in bars and you really want to dedicate your time, it's not, I'm going to go out every weekend. Yeah, this weekend I'm going to go to the bar. Next weekend I'll go to the bar again. That's not consistency. Consistency is daily, maybe 5-6 days a week minimum. I prefer every day for at least 2 months, 3 months. So you can get rid of it, get it out of your life permanently. You see, yeah, if I say every day, it sounds like a lot, but I'm only talking about going down there for an hour, maybe a half hour every day. And then in 2 or 3 months, have this problem solved once and for all. If you can only go 6 or 5 days a week, that's fine. That will work too, but you got to get out there. And as part of the consistency, you need to do a certain amount every day. And I'm talking about 2 or 3 minimum. So you're going to do, let's say 3 approaches every day for 3 months. And you're going to move towards your goal, pushing just a little farther every day, a little bit more beyond your boundaries. And that's the key. That consistency will change everything over time. Without that consistency, you'll be going out one weekend, pushing yourself, and then throughout the week coming back down. And pushing yourself throughout the week coming back down. And you're going to be noticing that you're not going to be going anywhere. You might take a boot camp and really push yourself, then come back down. Unless you're already almost there, some guys are, that method just won't work. If you've got a lot of insecurities to overcome, that method just won't work. So this brings us to step number 3. Step number 3 is the same as in the last video. You're going to journal, but you're going to journal differently for bars and nightclubs. It's a it's a huge difference in the way you journal. Number 1, you're going to journal every approach after you do them. You're going to journal every approach after you do them, so minimum 3 a night. What you're going to do is you're going to write down specifically what emotions you were feeling before the approach. Fear, anxiety, nervousness, whatever that was, pick one. And let's say it's anxiety, my anxiety. And then you're going to write down a level for it, 1 to 10. 1 being minimal anxiety, actually 0 being no anxiety, 10 being maximum anxiety. And you're going to write down that level. Let's say you write down a 7, like you see this pretty girl standing over there, or 2 of them, and you're going to go over and say hi to them, and that's a 7 for you. After the approach is over, you're going to write down anxiety again, And then you're going to note how much it decreased. Did it go down? Do you feel like a 6 or a 5 or a 4? And you're going to do this for every approach. So then after the approach, you're also going to write down what positive emotions you're feeling. A sense of courage, a sense of pride, a sense of acceptance, a sense of self-love, a sense of peace, and what level that's at. Maybe you just got a little bit of courage that came up and you can feel it. But you did the approach, so there had to be courage, right? So maybe it's a 3, maybe it's a 4, but maybe in a month that's at a 7 or an 8. Maybe it's at a 7 or 8 with a certain type of girl, but when you start to really approach the girls you're most attracted to, it shoots back up. And this is the stuff you're going to be noting when you journal. So you're going to journal the emotion you're feeling before and the emotional number, 0 to 10, and then how much that decreased after the approach. And then you're going to journal the positive emotions that came up and how strong they are by doing the approach. If you want to journal the positive emotions before the approach, you can do that too. Now, I recommend when you write this down, you don't have to write down stuff before and after. Like you see the girl, journal it down really quick. Do the approach, then write it all down. What did I feel before? What did I feel after the approach? Okay, do at least 3 of these a night. The last thing you're going to journal is what you learned from it, what you realized, what you got out of it. Now, this seems weird. A lot of guys want to do it in their head. They're like, I don't know. But when they start doing it, they're always shocked because every approach after a while starts to make them feel better. Because now they can look and say, look, I got a little bit more confident here. I got a little bit more courage. I felt my anxiety decrease a little bit here. And when they start seeing that consciously, remember, what you focus on expands. That ability to increase those positive emotions and decrease the negative emotions starts to build inside your subconscious, starts to build inside you because you're looking at it every approach. You're also looking at the improvement of every approach. And you're reading it over and you're writing it down and then reading it over again. And what that does is it causes that to expand rather than the old habit of focusing on what's not working. You see, a lot of you guys think, I approached the girl, I didn't get her phone number, she didn't go home with me, or whatever it is, didn't get a kiss, so it's a failure. But in truth, you might be shifting these little increments inside over a month, 2 months, 3 months. And you're going to start to realize very quickly that there is a lot of change going on. It's just taking time. There's something going on under the surface. Like when you plant a seed in the ground and it busts through the shell, digs roots into the ground, and it takes a while before you see any plant or tree or whatever the seed is bust the surface. So I want to invite you into this idea that there's a lot going on. And when you start to journal, you'll start to see all the little changes and happenings happening under the surface inside yourself. So start to write all this down. Just carry a little notepad or do it in your cell phone in the notes. And then at night, right before you go to bed, read through them. Remember the positives. Take them into your dreams. The last thing you think about, the last thing you read is most likely going to get processed while you sleep. And that's where a lot of changes happen. And if you do this every night, every day, for a month, 2 months, 3 months, preferably 2 or 3 months, you're going to see a lot of changes in your life. Now, some guys start to do this and they do get a little resistance after a while. And they start to go, what's going on? And that's that consistency principle. And when they get the most resistance is usually right before a big change. That's where you most want to stay consistent. Some guys start to do this and they say, my fear's going up. And that could be a lot of things. That could be you getting more vulnerable, more open. Notice if you're connecting better to women, even though your fear is increasing. That's most likely the case. So you're actually improving when that's the case because you're dropping deeper into your emotions, your feelings. And then what will happen is that fear will start to decrease again. It's a cycle. More is coming out of you. Another one is sometimes they think they're getting worse, but in reality, they suddenly started approaching women they find more attractive than the previous women. And they didn't even realize they did it because the previous women were getting too easy unconsciously. And then easy to meet, easy to talk to, and suddenly they're going after the women they really want. And they didn't even realize they made that shift. When they realize it, they're like, I raised the bar on myself and didn't even know it. So keep an eye out for this stuff when you're doing this. Because it is a progression. You are literally changing your relationship to so many different things and so many different emotions by approaching women. It's not like desensitization to something simple, like a fear of dogs, fear of spiders. Other human beings can judge you. Other women specifically can judge you. They can have opinions. You have to deal with their emotions. You might have vulnerability about sex. You might have vulnerability about intimacy. You might have vulnerability about commitment and relationships. All this stuff is going to come up as you go through the process. And you're going to keep journaling positive messages in the direction of where you want to go. as this stuff comes out of you, as you feel it, as you're reducing the anxiety, reducing the fear, reducing the guilt, and increasing those positive emotions in your journaling, okay? So those are the 3 steps. I'm going to go through them again really quick, just so you have them, just kind of a recap. Remember, go a little bit at a time. Don't push yourself. Start simple. Start slow. You know, maybe the first conversation is really short. Maybe it's asking a girl what she's drinking. Don't worry about impressing every woman in the beginning if you've got a lot of fear. First step is to get used to saying something, anything. Then start working on getting better and better till eventually you can go up bold, say all kinds of shit, have fun. The key is to set yourself free because women are very attracted to men that are free. Step number 2, be consistent, because without consistency, you will be doing this for years and years and years and beating yourself up more and more, probably make yourself worse. That's one of the biggest keys to success in every area of life. Doesn't matter what it is. And number 3, journaling. You need clarity. You need to see where you're growing. You need to focus on where you're growing. You need to focus on positivity. You need to focus on movement. And that will change your life, okay? So awesome. I hope you got a lot out of this video. What I'm going to do is invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, we're putting out 2 videos a week, and there's a lot of awesome content. We'd love to hear what you want because we really want to give you, the viewer, exactly what you want to help you get to the next level. So subscribe so you can get all those videos and let us know. Remember to comment below because that's where you can tell us where you want. You can also ask questions. You can tell us your successes. We'd love to hear successes because it encourages other people. And we have a lot of clients getting a lot of successes, so make sure to get out there and comment. And lastly, only the confident really live. So take action today. Be one of the confident. And hopefully one day I'll meet you in person at one of our free talks. Take care. Have a beautiful day. See you in the next video. Hold that eye contact and you relax in your body. You're going to start to feel this tension between you and another person, especially the beautiful woman you're looking at. And if you're really getting good with women, you should start to be able to enjoy that tension. You want to be able to relax into it and enjoy it. Every piece of it, right? If you're doing good, you're feeling it. Probably when you're really doing good, you're thinking the least. And that's true with almost anything. When you're really doing good, you're not thinking much. Now, how do you solve the problem of thinking? What is that?